Welcome to Crosstalk. Today we look at two critical reports that are making headlines. This week we've seen the National Human Rights Commission launch a report on the Hustler Fund. They say this fund that was meant to transform the lives of the lower cadre citizens is being misused and therefore should be scrapped off.
We have since confirmed from the management of the fund that they too were not approached to respond or even give clarity to all the claims and the issues that have come up in the study.
We can actually read beyond what they say, and malice in this, and maybe it was hurriedly done to be used as an instrument to just politicize and incite the public against this very transformative initiative.
We have always said that this fund was created in a hurry, and because of that, there was that issue that was not overlooked to some extent. But what we appreciate that it has been able to formalize or to capture over 1 million people now from CRB to graduate on through the credit rating. Now they are good borrowers.
The latest report by EACC looking at the National Ethics and Corruption Survey of 2024 put some of the key stakeholders in our government or in our institution as a country as the most corrupt.
The Commission realized and forwarded 126 investigation files to the Director of Public Prosecutions, recommending prosecutions of suspects.
Joining me to discuss what these numbers or these reports mean to the common person is none other than Professor Fred Ogola, who is a renowned economist in this country and a governance expert. He has also advised former president, the late President Kibaki, as an economic advisor. So he has a knowledge and experience in both governance and public finance. So he's the right person to have for this conversation when we are looking at these two critical reports that speaks to the nature and culture of our people or our government. He's also a very vocal critic of this government. I don't know why, either it is political or goodwill. Maybe we start from there. Welcome, Prof.
Yeah, thank you very much, John
Yes.
Paul. First of all, let me say that as Kibaki's economic advisor, people might think that we are doing advising like the one we are doing now. And maybe linking to what the president says that he has got the intelligence of the former president, Mwai Kibaki. Yeah. We were advisors, but we were never in government. Because the official advisor of the president is a CS. If you look at all the CS contracts, they say that he's a principal advisor of the president in the docket. For example, education should be Ogamba. Interior should be more common. And let me not mention more because these names start to bore me. So the second thing, I'm not criticizing the government. I'm actually simply telling Kenyans, hey Kenyans, listen. There's something going wrong. So you talk about the issue of Hustler Fund. I was the first one who went to court on 3rd of October, 2022, to tell people that the Hustler Fund was wrongly structured, was poorly operationalized, and completely misguidedly executed. Remember, the president took oath of office on 13th of September. He launched the Hustler Fund on 30th of September at Norfolk. This was his maiden project. John Paul, what is your maiden project on earth? I'm sure when you are graduating in school, maybe you said that my first thing will be that one. Imagine your very first thing that is mishandled. It was even his flagship, not even maiden, a flagship project. It was his identity. You know, what identifies you? For example, family TV. I said everybody is from a family. If you're not from any family, you're an animal. So imagine the identity of family TV. We can't discuss things here that goes against what a family is all about, because the family is the unit where we learn everything. So imagine his maiden project was poorly executed. So from that moment, we realized flaws after flaw. So I'm not a critic of the government, but actually I'm talking to Kenyans.
But was the intention right for purposes of financial inclusion?
Actually, the people think that, I've heard people saying that the intention is right, the execution is poor, but according to me, the other way around. The idea is right. The intention for the idea was to win the election. After winning the election, then they did not to execute what they did not have an intention to execute anyway. So these guys got elected with their wishes to run a hustler nation. Remember hustler nation? Then they discovered that they cannot run this hustler nation. What was a hustler nation? A nation of unemployed people. You've heard them saying that we inherited a dilapidated economy. They call it a hustler nation. A hustler nation is a nation with dilapidated economy. So once they got it, then they couldn't get it right. And let me not go to talking about them, because as a governance expert, we go and look at what are the governance issues.
So what exactly are the key issues when you look at the fund itself? Is it transparency, or it's just a wrong social justice system?
Yeah, first of all, John, don't look at this hustler fund in isolation. The moment look at it in isolation, then you're only hitting at the president. Let's look at the government, the governance. What's the mindset of the Kenya Kwanza administration? As an economist, there are two ways, there are two mindsets of an economist. One is a structuralist economist. The other one is affirmative action economist. Affirmative action could be, if you are fortunate at home, you can give sweets to 2 of them or 3, but there's no food at home. You understand? A structured economy realizes there's food at home, there's school fees at home for everybody, isn't it? But affirmative action will pick one of the kids who is complaining the most and give them a sweet. When this one makes noise, you throw a sweet at them. So this is the structure of Kenya Kwanza government. Affirmative action. Look at the issue of CDF, how it's being done. Bursaries, the way it's being distributed. The current structure of this government is an affirmative action. Women have complained. Let's bring one woman as women rep. But you don't listen to these women in parliament. There are some women shouting, we are mothers, stop killing our babies. But you say they are just minority. These are just minority. Listen to the women. Women are in parliament not to boot numbers. They are there to contribute, because women have got some talent in them. So affirmative action, let's go now. SHA. It was said, I'll pay for some people within 100 days. I'll pay for some people. NHIF, you heard that? Yeah. I'll pay for some people. It is me and those people. My relationship is between me and them, isn't it? The president should not say, I'll pay for people. The government should do it. So there was no structure to do that, isn't it? Secondly, we go to affordable housing. I'll build for some people houses, social housing, isn't it? There was no structure around it. We go to the issue of Adani. You see that? So all the projects done, fertilizer, I'll get Onyango or Otieno from Siaya and give them free fertilizer. You understand? I'm giving you the mindset of affirmative action, economic thinking. Now, to make it understood clearly, let's compare structuralists. A structuralist, when you were with Kibaki, we did analysis and found that we have 12,500,000 households in Kenya. That's the number. And you don't have to go anywhere. Census, they give you that report, isn't it? We analyze that in every household, there's an average of 400 children per household. And then we discovered on average, every child needs 63,000 shillings per year to get education. And we analyze that household consumption education by average is 265,000 per household. So we said, if we got to MasterCard, Visa card, and partners to finance education, is like we have taken 108.7 trillion and thrown at these people. Because now, John Paul, let's say in your home, let me talk about your home where your father is in charge. All your brothers and sisters, on average, your father spends 265,000 shillings per year in education for your children, isn't it? And then I become president and tell your father, from today, education is free. Your father has 265,000 shillings in his pocket. He can either drink with it, He can either buy clothes for you or he can start a business. So instead of giving people hustler fund that I'm giving you 500 to start a business, get the education free. There'll be floating money, we call it stimulus package in the economy, isn't it? So instead of paying school fees, use this money now to start a business. Healthcare. We did an analysis. Every household, do you know per week, on average, everybody spends 2,000 shillings in some medicine somewhere. If I tell you it will be free, that 2,500 per week is in your pocket. What can you do with it? If you do times 4, how much that is? That's 10,000, isn't it? What can you do 10,000 shillings a month? And what do you do 120,000 shillings a year if it is in your pocket? So structural economy is looked at, let me do for you something to allow you to do something with your own money at your free time. So you don't have to be calling, oh, William Ruto, your hustler fund, we are doing it. So the problem was that the thinking of the whole Kenya Kwanza projects are affirmative action which do not empower people. They create dependency. Structural economy allows you. So structural economy looks at create an enabling environment, not just for the people who are doing household, but also for businesses to consume. And that's what I'm telling you, that's where the equation, you equalize the people who are suffering the most. So I've gone to a place called Kapkukui. You know where Kapkukui is? It's next to Marigat, where schools were wiped out by the flood. You know the flood that was there before? Nothing has been repaired. Yet, someone is saying he's giving people 50 billion shillings in terms of just handout.
Okay. So if you found yourself in Treasury or advising the president as his economic advisor currently, what reforms would you push for?
What I will tell the president is to start rethink. In fact, I've created an economic model called Evolve. E for every, I don't want to go to explain it because this is not the point, but Kenya needs to evolve from affirmative action to structural economy, whereby every child growing up doesn't see affordable education or education as a favor. It's a right. It's there in the Bill of Rights. So what I'll do is to change the mindset, the economic philosophy, the economic ideology of the president needs to change. If you want to see the president, just listen to him one day. He talks to people directly. I will do for you. You saw him yesterday. He was defending 4 things which are attaching 12 ministries alone with no ministers there. Like he defended the foreign policy alone. He defended the hustler fund alone. He defended the housing alone. Why do you have ministers? John Paul, if the president created structures, processes, systems, it could work for him. And let me tell you what, John Paul, there's no rocket science about it. There's what called input. What is the input? Whom do you appoint in your government? Isn't it? What resources do you give them? The second thing, we talk about output. What do they deliver? The third one is outcome. What do people see? Because see, what you deliver, you are the one who knows, isn't it? Outcome is what people see. That's what is the impact people can count. So that's what
have you felt impact in the last 2 years of this government?
No, there's no impact because what was the hustler fund supposed to achieve? According to me, it was supposed to create businesses at the bottom of the pyramid so that they come up and start paying taxes. That's why it's called bottom up, meaning before we talk about triple down, top down, where you bring money and give these people. Now you empower them to give you money up, because if you give them money and the money doesn't come up, it's gone. So if I can ask you, with your own report, you saw the one for Kenya Human Rights Commission, how many people graduated from a mamboga, isn't it, to a trader? You understand? Because they were supposed to graduate. You cannot take a child to primary and they're in primary for 5 years after you're the president. They need to graduate. Did you see people graduating? If they graduated, have you seen that in the tax revenue? And if you don't see them coming to contribute the tax revenue, then the impact is not there. But during Kibaki, you saw taxes doubled because we threw the money as stimulus in the economy. People left work to start businesses, and when they started business, they started paying taxes, and taxes doubled. So you could see the impact instantly.
Prof, people will always argue that we focus on the negative when the government is also doing some things that will be a positive.
Yeah, so what are these positive things?
Hold on, we come back after the break and you'll tell us the positives you see in the government, because we can't just see everything bad. This is Crosstalk. We are talking about the state of the nation, but looking at the public integrity. When we come back, we look at the report that was launched by the ESCC that puts most of the government institutions that are supposed to man our security apparatus as the most corrupt. We take a break, we come back after that.
We are living in a lost and broken world, constantly bombarded by messages of hate and atrocities. But with God, we can overcome. Find hope and restoration on the go through life-changing shows on the Family Media app.
And then you will lose yourself and gain the world. And Jesus said, what good is it?
Get to stream Family TV and Family Radio 316 straight from your phone. Catch up on a show you missed or create video streaming playlists by saving and watching videos from our huge variety of shows at your own convenience. Download the Family Media app, available for all Android and iOS users on the Google Play Store and Apple Store respectively. Family Media, keeping Jesus on the airwaves.
Welcome back to Crosstalk. Today, it's more of a one-on-one conversation with Professor Fred Ogolla. We are looking at two critical reports that were issued. One about the ASLA funds by the Kenya Human Rights Commission, and they have proposed the scrapping of that fund. This part of this conversation, we want to focus majorly on the report that was issued by the ESCC about the National Ethics and Corruption Survey of 2024. When you look at those two reports, of course, we've looked at the ASLA fund and the economic model of this government and what your recommendation is in terms of structural aspect. There's the aspect of ESCC. Because if there's a structural issue, then the issues of transparency and corruption, integrity becomes what we deal with. And when you look at the report by the ESCC, people are saying this is just one of those many reports that will gather dust.
Yeah. By the way, John Paul, you call me a governance expert, and you are the expert because you chose this topic, and I'll tell you why you are the expert. You cannot delink ESCC report from the structure we just discussed. You understand?
Yeah.
Because structure, processes, guarantees results. And when they are not well structured, how do you even do auditing? How do you audit even the Hustler Fund? How do you audit SHA? How do you audit house levy? How do you audit all those funds which have been set? Now, why do you think the ESCC report is bad? We go back to the Hustler Fund. Did they design it to work? No. In fact, in my petition, which I took to court, I challenged that the Minister for Cooperatives and Development, where this fund sits, had a right to collapse the fund. Now, what I was worrying about? You saw when you borrowed 500 shillings, when you paid back, some of the payments were supposed to go to your NSSF, isn't it? It's just there. Some of them were supposed to go for savings in your account, isn't it? Now, where was the problem? People who are borrowing Hustler Fund, they don't have bank account. So where is that money going? Secondly, they have no NSSF number. So when you are being told their money is going to NSSF contribution, where is it going? Do you know, John Paul, that 19 million Kenyans are on CRB as we speak? That is 66% of adult population. Those people, what is the need of putting money in their bank account? If you're on CRB, it doesn't even matter to put. So we are having a structural problem that now creates those corruption. So what I want to tell you is that this chaos has been created by intention so that money can be siphoned. Don't even isolate this with the e-citizen. You see the e-citizen? Yes. Also those chaos. Who owns e-citizen? Who runs e-citizen? Before Kenyans cried in 2013, I called a press conference in Givenchy Gardens and told people, e-citizen is the biggest corruption scandal that's going to happen. And they use this money to do very illicit things. I don't want to go to details because we are just to focus on this report. So according to me, the lack of structure is by design. Because if there was a structure, then someone could actually be able to audit and lead the trails. They reinvented the wheel to create something that looks like a slush fund. A slush fund is a fund you can do anything with. It can sit anywhere and you can take it anywhere. And again, suppose you lose money. Where would you go to an office? Do you know any single office of Hustler Fund? The reports are on Twitter, they are on Facebook, they are on Instagram, and they are on TikTok. It's the president who reports, so he's the CEO of that. Now we go back here to the corruption. Without that, with the lack of structure, then corruption thrives where there's structure. Opaqueness. In fact, I said, the government of Kenya, the Kenya Kwanza government is so opaque. Everything is opaque. Go to house levy, opaque. SHA, opaque. Housing fund, opaque. You go to fake fertilizer, opaque. Now this is what is making all these agencies, for example, EFCC cannot even find how to catch KRA. Can you imagine KRA, the person tasked to collect taxes, is ranking top 3 in corruption. You go again to police, watumishi kwa wote, keeping law and order. The people who should keep law and order are the most corrupt. Can you get law and order in this country? Then you go again to the DCI, the Criminal Investigation Department, isn't it? They're among the top 5 most corrupt. So let me tell you what, I don't want to go to those things. John Paul, we need someone who can be disruptive thinker to run Kenya. If I was president today, EFCC will be disbanded immediately. What is EFCC's role? To investigate who? So the structure is a big issue. So forget about the issue of prosecution. So why are we focusing? Let me tell you. Why are we focusing on what I call punitive justice when you can do preventive? Why don't we first of all stop the leak? The structure, how our funds work, already there are a lot of loopholes.
So we should put this structure. Is this the legislative arm of a government? Is it the executive? Or the structures are already there? Our constitution is already a structure in itself.
No, by the way, John Paul, don't even mention the constitution. As a governance expert, we have 3 manuals. The constitution is the first manual. Even how to prepare bills, how to borrow money, how to disburse is there. And how to structure the government is there. Secondly, we have laws of Kenya made in parliament, which is also another manual. The last manual, if you like, are the policies made in ministries. So if the president wants to escape this, let me give you analysis. When we were with President Kibaki, we agreed that we create a structure how he works with every ministry, because talk about Vision 2030 was too big, isn't it? So the president should just issue executive order on Hustler Fund, affordable housing, on SHA, isn't it? On University Fund and the rest. After that, the minister in charge should come with the ministerial policies. That's why you see Oparanya, as Minister for Economic and Planning, under Kibaki, planned how to execute. That's why Young Nyong were contributing. Then you allow the experts to give you input. You understand? Then after that, you have the department headed by PSS. We call them D, departmental. So E, executive order. M, ministerial policy. D, department headed by the PS. To come with the execution framework where I talk about the process, the systems, the structure, accountability, and the rest. So that if somebody goes against them, you can take them to court. So if you take someone to court, somebody has stolen money, you have no structure to prosecute this person. They say, they escaped. That's why corruption cannot end at prosecution if the structure itself is not right. So I'm telling you, we need a disruption, my brother. The issue is that before you steal money, is there a process to put you culpable when you steal this money? If that process is not there, you'll escape. And how you have escaped? Tell me, since you were born, John Paul, who has successfully been prosecuted and refunded Kenyan money, even 10 bob? Zero. Because of how he stole the money. So what these guys do, they read the law very well, and MPs are very good with punching a document that can make them culpable, then they leave it open. Did you not see the report that came from IBC? That MPs ensured there is no law to remove them from office.
For recall.
Isn't it?
But this also speaks to a moral compass. It also speaks to a trust issue.
Yeah.
A Kenyan, if the corruption level goes up, it means there's somebody who is giving.
Yeah.
So why should we give to access public service? So it speaks to a moral issue, both ends.
No, not really. You see, well, let me tell you, sorry, as an economist, I've studied that there's a way every country functions. So where systems are chaotic, and the designers created chaotic so that you are their mercy. Now look here. Let's talk about a young woman or a young man just finished university, and this young man is applying for a job that requires them to get the DCI police clearance. And he has got the application today. In 14 days, they need to get the application. If not, they lose. Then you go to the police headquarters and you apply. Then you're being told, go home, we shall tell you when to come back. And go home until further notice. There is no clear date. Then they tell you, but if you're in a hurry, ongea na officer, you are looking for a job, what will you do? But in Rwanda, when you apply for police clearance, 5 days. You get me? You apply for ID, 14 days. You apply for a passport, 21 days. It's not clear. Do you know, you're sitting here with me, if you apply for passport, do you know when you'll get it?
There's a desired timeline.
Yes, but
there's a
ideally,
yeah.
You don't know, isn't it? And then someone tells you, between what you don't know and when they're telling you, if you give me this, I'll give you in 4 days, then you give. So the system is designed, and I don't want to blame Kenya. So corruption is in two ways. One is whereby you have to give something to get a government service. That's corruption. But that's the smaller part. The bigger chunk is whereby someone runs away with 10 billion, 5 billion. So where do you want to accuse that? Is that a moral compass on the citizens or the person in office? There's only one person willing to take is to steal.
Is to steal.
Yeah.
Such an unfortunate situation of our public integrity, and mostly in our public institutions.
Yeah.
But Prof, you know, these things, we'll always talk about them.
Yeah.
We can never end them in one conversation such as this. One thing that has come out strongly is the structural framework that we need to go back to. But I also like the EMD model.
Yeah.
Maybe you should meet with the president and share that.
He knows because I told him that if you go to Kibaki's files, he says he's as brilliant as Kibaki.
Yes.
You can find it somewhere there.
Maybe those files were lost somewhere.
No, but you see, if you look at how Vision 20 should be executed and the structure of government, isn't it? It's there. We wrote these things, and Kibaki used to laugh and say, oh, EMD. No, Kibaki was a nice guy. He was a gentleman. But we're having somebody who knows the biggest problem we have is when someone believes he knows more than everybody. He's the most intelligent person. It means he has 4 presidents head together. It means that he has the head of Kenyatta, senior, he has the head of Moi, he has the head of Kibaki and the head of Uhuru, and his own head together.
What a
that
perfect mix.
That's a danger, yes.
Thank you so much, Prof, for your time on Crosstalk, and of course for giving us insights on the best ways and practice that we can put to lead our country forward.
Thank you very much.
Asante sana.
Sure.
That has been Crosstalk with Professor Fred Ogolla. We've been looking at the public integrity, but generally the state of the nation, focusing on the 2 reports. And if you've not managed to look at those 2 reports, I think it will be an idea to go to their website, EACC website, or Kenya Human Rights Commission website, and read for yourself the status of our nation in terms of those 2 specific reports that were issued this week. Until next week, bye-bye for now.